videos. Ooh. I usually pre-record my videos for my income reports. However, I thought I would do it differently today and come online and live. And I am going to go through my income report for those of you who are watching after the fact. And then at the end, I will answer some questions from whoever is in the chat and whoever wants to ask me some questions. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Rebecca Black. I am the Bexa Boss Lady, and my online reselling business is Boss Lady Resale. I share my income reports for the sole purpose of letting people know how much I actually make as a part-time reseller through eBay and Poshmark. I think it's very important for transparency because if you are just going by the numbers that people are sharing, their sold dashboards on social media, people are sharing their Amazon numbers. You have really no idea. It might look like a big number, but you really don't have any idea how much they paid for those items, how long they've been sitting in their storage unit, and all of those things. So in July, I changed my business. Well, actually, I changed my business model around May or June. And I wanted to talk about how I changed my business model and then quickly talk about how I changed my business model. And then let's talk about my income report for July. So the first thing I did, which many of you already know this, is I have reduced the amount of clothing items I am selling in my Poshmark and eBay store. Because of my chronic illnesses, my chronic migraines, my autoimmune diseases, it's very hard for me to physically go out and shop for stuff and then come back and physically list it, take pictures, clean it, put it on the mannequin, put it away, store it, all of those kind of things. And so I had to make a decision for my health and my business on what items I could list much more efficiently and quickly while I could still be making a really good profit per item. So with that being said, I ended up dropping most of the clothing from my online stores. And there are some clothing items on there now. I have some consignment items that friends have given me to sell for them. And I have some stuff for my own closet. I really wanted to keep the momentum going of listing 5 or 10 things a day. And in order to do that, I haven't been able to go out and source shoes a whole lot because shoes is what I have been primarily selling. Now, I am very excited that I chose to do shoes, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. But you will still see some clothes in my store. And what I think is interesting is you'll see a lot of people are posting, like I said, their numbers. They're posting these be on the lookout list and having you buy them, when really their knowledge of BOLO list comes from their own closet. And so if you're buying my BOLO list is probably items that sell in my closet. But if you want to sell vintage items or more expensive items, my list of what to sell probably won't work for you. So what I have done is gone through for July, and I went through what has sold, and we're just gonna go through it so you can get an idea. Now, moving down into shoes primarily, I have reduced the amount of time I'm spending sourcing and listing by at least half. So I'm probably spending a quarter of the time doing shoes and listing than I was previously. I also right now have a lot less listings than I did in the beginning of the year. So my sales are down a little bit, but primarily it's because I have not been doing as much. I also was in the hospital. I've also been traveling for a week. So there was about a 2-week period in July that I did not list anything and I didn't source anything. So now it's August. I'm getting back into the swing of things. But let's go over this July sales report. So if you watched my reports before, I simply go through, I write down my information on this little handy dandy notepad. And I use my inventory sales data report, which I'm so happy that Poshmark has come out with their own sales report, because now I can use that and much more efficiently track my sales. So my total gross sales for Poshmark and eBay, this is excluding any inventory boxes. So when I'm doing my inventory, when I'm doing my sales report, I want to make sure that I'm only listing the clothing, the shoes, the items that I am selling. So the total gross for July was $2,653.88. And if you subtract the cost of goods, so the cost of the items that I bought to resell, minus the eBay, PayPal, shipping fees, Poshmark fees, etc., my total net profit for reselling is $1,540.61. So that's probably working about 10 hours a week on my business. And it's not an amazing number, but I'm moving in the right direction. And I'm going to tell you why. Because for the longest time, I was trying to get my average profit per item and cost per sale price per item at about $20 or more for the profit, and at about $35 for the price sold. And I'm happy to report, I'm so excited about this, that finally my average profit per item in July was $25.67. And my average sale price in July was $44.23. So I am far exceeded what my goals were. And now the goal is to just grow this so that now I'm working less, but I'm working smarter and I'm making more money per item. Another significant, major, exciting goal that I met in July is that I had 0 of 60 items sell for a loss. So if you watched my other videos, you have seen that usually I do items that were like my biggest profit, items that were my biggest loss. And I'm so excited to report that I actually have no items at a loss. So 60 items sold in July, all 60 of them sold for, a profit, so the average profit of $25.67. Again, this does not include any inventory mystery boxes. These are straight up individual items that I sold. 60 of those items sold, 24 of them sold on eBay, and 36 of them sold on Poshmark. So what I'm finding is the more time I'm spending sharing and listing on Poshmark, the more sales I'm making. And it's actually starting to beat eBay. Whereas in the past, I've sold more on eBay. Now it's going into the opposite direction. The other thing is, if you sell on eBay and you haven't seen my videos for eBay Open, so I went to eBay Open in July. And if you did not see it, I have detailed videos on not only what they told me about my individual store, the new payment processing system, and just some other things that I learned. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I do make videos like this. And you can find them in my list for eBay. But the best flip I had for July was I purchased a pair of Allen Edmonds Cordovan shoes. They were $1, and I sold them for $199 with a profit of $172.69. So that is all moving in the right direction, and that is where I want to keep going. So my ideal profit net sales per month is about $3,000. So I'm going to try by Christmas to double this, to see if I can do mostly shoes, some clothing items, and get up to that $3,000 part-time reselling income. And I don't know about you, but $3,000 is a lot of money to make on a part-time business. And if I can do it with, a chronic illness, with the issues that I have, I totally believe that you can do it as well. So that's why I do these videos, and I try to help others, because I think it's important to know that if you have limitations, there are ways to overcome those to make a living for yourself and contribute to your family. Another interesting thing was out of the 60 items that sold in my Poshmark and my eBay store, there were 44 different brands. So when people are talking about what brands are selling, I'm here to tell you that every month I have different, they're same brands, but there's a lot of them. So for instance, the most items of an individual brand that I sold in July, J. Crew was 4 items, and Dansko clogs were 4 items. So Dansko, oh, I'm sorry, Cole Haan was actually the most with 5. So there were 5 Cole Haan items, 4 Dansko items, and 4 J. Crew items that sold in July per my sales report. The next highest was Donald Pliner, and the next highest was Lululemon. So those 5 brands, Cole Haan, Lululemon, Dansko, Donald Pliner, and J. Crew, were my top selling items in July of 2018 for my eBay and Poshmark store. So out of 60 items, I had 44 brands. Now, we have been looking at my inventory report, and my husband, who's the data guru, has been looking at the average day to sell and all of those kind of things. And so my total average of day of sale is 72 days. So I also would like to kind of shorten that to about 60 days. I want to try to get my items selling within 60 days. So that's another thing that I need to work on, is to maybe buy the brands, buy the items that are selling faster. So one thing you can do in your own store that you can implement if you're on Poshmark is you can see when you download your sales report, it will tell you the date you sold it versus the date you listed it. So you can get an idea of what brands are sitting in your closet. The brands, obviously, that are, selling within a couple weeks, those are the brands that you want to keep buying for your closet. So as you go around watching other videos like this one, like mine, just keep in mind that your closet brings different folks than mine does. So my closet in the past was a lot of professional clothing. I sold a lot of suits, skirts, dress pants, blazers, dress shirts, and those kind of things. So for me, when people came looking for those kind of things, I always knew that they would also be looking for comfortable shoes for work. So I tried to fill my closet with similar yet diverse items where people would bundle maybe a pair of dress shoes and a blazer, or dress pants and a dress top in similar sizes. And that was my clientele. But if you have someone who's younger, let's say you have someone who's in college or right out of college, and they're selling a lot of Topshop, a lot of Zara, a lot of Nasty Gal, ModCloth, those brands are going to sell better in their closet than possibly my closet. So you have to understand that there are brands that generally just sell well. I believe that Dansko is a brand that sells well. I believe that Lululemon is a brand that sells well. I believe that, For Love of Lemons, that new kind of sexier brand sells well. So there are brands that sell really well regardless of what you have in your closet. But there's also brands that are more, not collaborative, that's not the word I want to use, that are more similar to other brands that would potentially have people end up buying an alternative item. So maybe they came looking in your closet for a pair of Cole Haan work shoes, and you don't have a pair of Cole Haan work shoes, but you do have a pair of Coach work shoes that are similar or cuter or a better price than they wanted to spend for the Cole Haan shoes. And that will be what they end up buying. So just because someone comes to your closet looking for a specific thing, that doesn't always mean they're going to end up buying that. So if something else in your closet catches their eye, or they want to bundle something, that's what I look for in buying different brands and what I choose to sell in my closet. So think about that when you look at what's in your closet and what you're thinking about buying or adding to your, especially when we're talking about Poshmark, because it's such a visual Instagram style shopping social media shopping network. And when you have these eye-catching original photos for the main image, it helps when other people come looking for different things. So just keep that in mind. I think it's very interesting that, I have these brands, 44 different brands out of 60 sales. I think that's incredible that there's that many different brands that I have sold in 1 month. I'm interested now. I know Aaron, my husband, has been doing a lot of work with my Poshmark data. So he has been doing a lot of stuff with that, and some online data. And I think that we are going to have a pretty good idea of, what sells, the highest price that sells, and all of those things we will have a better idea of in the next couple of weeks. I'm filming this video. It is August 4th. If you live in the Washington, D.C. area or around the surrounding area, Poshmark is having a Posh Live event on August 21st. You can find tickets for that. They're only $10 on the website. I will be there, and I would love to meet as many of you as I can. So if you are in the DMV area and interested in coming by, don't forget to, if you see me, to say hello. I definitely would love to see you. But anyway, this was my income report. I just wanted to stop on here. If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Now, I do have a sports bra on, and I'm trying to get motivated to take my dog for a walk or a jog. So the longer you can keep me here, the better. No, I'm just kidding. I am going to take him. I'm dressed. I got my headband on. I have my sports bra on. By the way, this is thrifted. This is thrifted. My Lululemon pants were purchased through Instagram from another reseller. So I definitely have lots of stuff. Oh, I'll also be at Posh Fest. So if you're going to Posh Fest, tickets are sold out. It's in Dallas this year, and I will be there. I did end up getting a ticket. So let's see. Hi, Gretchen. Yeah, that is one of the best things about reselling is when you're not feeling well, you can rest. And when you have a lot of energy, you can work. I was up at like 5 o'clock in the morning the other day, and I was wide awake. So I was I was listing stuff, taking pictures, sorting things, doing laundry. And then I took a 3-hour nap in the middle of the afternoon. It was great. Hi, socially awkward seller. Well, thank you for stopping by. And if you've been selling for a while, I think you will love Poshmark for sure. I think that would be great. Hi, Jennifer. How do I get started on Instagram promoting eBay Poshmark? I need to start marketing my business. So the first thing I'll tell you about Instagram is you either need to, if you already have a following on Instagram and you want to start selling things, just kind of or start a separate account, because people who are there to just learn about you or follow you on your personal journey might not be interested in shopping. So you don't want to like alienate those people. If you want to have Jennifer's Closet on Instagram, you can start sharing pictures and things like that with the links in your link tree or, link in your bio for your store, and then start posting some photos of the items on there. Now, personally, if I sell things on Instagram, I would rather just get paid for them through PayPal. I have done that. I haven't had any real issues doing that. I do know there are some sellers that have had some issues with selling stuff on Instagram. So I am really not sure about that. But that's what I think about. Selling on Instagram is kind of a whole nother beast. It's actually on my August video to-do list. So I will have a whole video about selling on Instagram coming up in August. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because then you will get notified when that pops up. Yeah, I would just, if you just want to steer people towards your stores, I would just, share cute things that you get in, have good pictures, make sure the links are in your bios, and use relevant hashtags because the hashtags is how people are going to find you on Instagram. Have you heard anything about Poshmark moving towards Canada? I do know that that is in their kind of business future is to move towards that. I have no idea what their progress is for shipping labels and working with the post office for international shipping. I know they have their deal for the states, but I'm not sure about Canada. So when I first started, okay, the question is, do you do any Pinterest marketing? Um, when I first got started, I used to share all my stuff to Pinterest. And then I noticed that my Pinterest engagement and people looking at my blog pins and sharing my stuff went down a lot. So I have steered away from marketing my Poshmark closet on Pinterest unless it's like a super cute or desirable item that I think it might draw people into my closet. So if you have if you have a Pinterest presence already for your blog, people are following you for your blog and that content. They might not necessarily be following you for it goes into the same thing. I think that if you want to promote your stuff on Facebook, on Instagram, on social media, that's great, but you don't want to alienate the people who are already watching you because that will hurt your engagement. And then the algorithms will start kind of bumping your stuff down and less people will see it. So, for instance, I was sharing all of my Poshmark pins, my Poshmark likes, like everything to Pinterest. And my Pinterest analytics report was like down because people weren't sharing my pins, they weren't clicking on my pins, they weren't saving my pins. And for me, Pinterest is a source to drive traffic to my website and my blog and my other stores. So if you want to pin your stuff on Pinterest, one of the biggest tips that I have for you is to actually go into a site like PicMonkey or Canva and design your own pin. So, make your own pin that says something like "Shop Jennifer's Closet for the best Lululemon Athletica prices on the internet." Make a little graphic for it, put a shop here button, and then use your Poshmark closet link as the link for the Pinterest image. Make sure you put a description like selling on Lululemon, blah, 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 very keyword descriptive, whatever you think people would type into the search box. Use your hashtags on Pinterest and do it that way versus blowing up the Pinterest thing with each individual listing, unless you have really super cute flat lays or really good things like that. Um, Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a Pinterest following, you could share them, but when you're sharing them on Pinterest, you want to call to Pinterest is a whole nother beast as well. With Pinterest, you want a call to action. You want people to have a reason to go there. You want people to know they can shop there. So if you can make your pins more attractive and spend a little bit of time making those longer Pinterest images, putting some, engaging keywords in there and things like that. That is the better way to optimize your Pinterest for Poshmark than it is to just straight up share your pins always to Pinterest. I did not go to the social media workshop at eBay Open. I did not go there because how am I going to put this nicely? It was just it was too beginner for me. And I had heard some feedback that the information given wasn't everything that I agree with. So when the session came up again, I decided I wasn't going to go to it. I just, I kind of fall into my own groove of social media. So, it's, I don't know. I didn't. So the answer is no, I did not go to it. Um, Am I changing all of my older merchandise to white backgrounds? Um, so if you don't know what I'm talking about with that, eBay and Google had made a presentation saying that the best way to get your images shown are to have them on white backgrounds. All of my images are like on a white brick background. So it's not totally white, but they said it could probably be fine as long as there wasn't anything else in the photos. So all of mine pretty much are already just kind of plain. I'm probably not going to go back and redo my videos. What I would suggest is if you are going to sell on eBay, that's probably more of a priority than if you're selling on Poshmark. Poshmark would rather have, pretty aesthetics and nice flat lays and beautiful photos, whereas Amazon wants very clear, clean cut photos. Also, if you're going to put anything that you buy on Amazon, Amazon also requires a white background. So if you're thinking about putting any of your new with tags items onto Amazon, you're going to need to have a white background for that as well. I didn't miss anything. Yeah, see, that's what I heard, and I didn't feel like I needed to go to that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think as long as they're like white or light gray, it's probably fine. For Google, for their image search, it's easier for their image search to pick up the items if there's no distractions in the background. So sometimes I wonder if my brick lines are a distraction. I don't know. I have yet to have a clothing item that I have taken a photo of that I dragged and dropped into Google result in a even similar image. So we're brand. So I think I think it needs a lot of work on that. Like I haven't been able to like take a picture of something and have the exact or similar item show up. It just hasn't happened. So we'll see. I think, as the time goes on, I think that it will get better. Okay. I'm not having any luck with offers to likers on Poshmark. Any tips? So neither am I. And well, it's not that I'm not having any luck. I think that feature, especially when they have the days like today and yesterday where you can win if you send the feature, it's bombarding people with offers. So, when you have this kind of crazy thing where everyone is now, God, my nose is so itchy today. I have the worst allergies. Where everyone is, throwing out all these offers to everyone. I think that it is challenging. There's two thoughts that I have to this. One is if you can send an offer to liker sooner rather than later, I think that is better because I think sooner rather than later will get to them while they're looking to shop. The other thing that I have talked about doing is, and I've started playing around with this, is I'm doing offers to categories during the week. So Mondays I might do shoes, Tuesdays I might do bags, Wednesdays dresses, Thursdays purses, whatever. Dividing it up so people who are liking my stuff, it's getting divided up. And typically I am not doing a ton of what do I want to say? Like major reductions. So if I'm looking at my Poshmark sales, I almost have no items that have sold for free shipping. And it's not that I haven't offered free shipping, it's that people have not taken me up on my free shipping offers. So typically, most of probably 90% of my sales on Poshmark come from offers, either mine to them or them to me. And about a quarter of those have been discounted shipping. Now that you can see that in the Poshmark report, it makes it really easy to track that. So those are the two things that I have been trying, is getting them right when they like the item. So then I know they're on the app. I know they're looking at that item. And the second thing is trying to do different categories each day. So I'm not spending a whole bunch of time doing my whole closet. So like I said, I'm doing shoes on, one day, and then dresses and skirts, and, dividing it up. Also, just remember, you don't have to keep marking your stuff down. I mean, you do if you want the same likers to like your item. However, if you have a pair of shoes you're selling for $50 and you have sent an offer to likers for 20%, but then you have a whole bunch of new people, like let's say you get it's a party and you get a host pick. So you have a whole bunch of people who have now liked your shoes that were $50. All of those new likers, you can send the 10% off offer to them. So if you want to try free shipping plus 10% on the offer to likers to those 5 new likers, you can do that. Now, the other 10 likers that previously were on there that got your 20% offer, they will not get that. But I have sold many things for actually less of a discount with new likers than the original likers to begin with. So don't be afraid to play around with, new likers, what your percentage is, find your sweet spot. There's a lot of, I think, people who are selling bigger, bulkier items that are doing free shipping, and that is working, or smaller items. So if people are buying necklaces, bracelets, I don't know, headbands, like the stuff that you're thinking to yourself, why would I pay $6 to ship this? I have noticed that there are a lot of people who are doing free shipping on those items, and it is working. Mine primarily are shoes. So I usually do the $1.50 off. It makes their shipping $4.99. And that's what I've been doing to make sales. And you can see that in my sales report. So I used to sell on Etsy, and I used to sell on Mercari. Mercari banned me because I sold some mystery boxes. If you sell mystery boxes on Mercari, you have to put what individual thing is in every single box. And when I was selling, 40 items, that would have been forever. Plus, with the character count, it wouldn't have all fit in there. So I don't sell on Mercari anymore. I actually never really sold a lot of stuff on Mercari anyway. I've maybe had 20 sales in a year. I've always thought it was hard to search. I don't know. I didn't love the platform. I liked that it was only 10%, but I didn't like the platform. And then Etsy. So Etsy is a great place to sell on. If you sell vintage items or unique items, Etsy is a wonderful place to sell things on. Their fees are very low. The buyers seem to be very friendly. I never had an issue with a seller on Etsy. However, I just haven't been buying vintage stuff to sell. But if I do get back into that market and choose to pick up some more vintage stuff, I definitely will start listing those things on Etsy again. I sold an amazing pair of Jordache jeans on there for like $65. They were just like the best retro 70s style, high waist, real thick denim, to a girl in San Francisco, and she absolutely loved them. So there is a market for clothes on Etsy for sure. Oh, thanks, Gretchen. Gretchen says, don't forget to hit the like button. So of course, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Okay, so why do people add to a bundle and then they don't purchase even with an offer from me? Okay, so there's a couple things with that. One is I bundle things to just see how much the total is. It doesn't mean I'm going to buy everything. I just kind of want to know how much the total is and look at it. The other thing is sometimes I don't have enough money in my Poshmark account, but like, let's say I want to buy a pair of shoes and a purse and it's $200. If I have $150, I will bundle those items and then wait until I get $200 in my account to buy those items. So that's the second thing. The third thing is you can use bundles as kind of like an abandoned shopping cart that you can go back to. So if you aren't ready to buy right now, but you know you like those 2 items, maybe you head back to that person's closet and a couple weeks and you're like, oh, they have these Lululemon pants now and this pair of shoes, I'm going to add to it and then I'm going to buy. You can do that as well. So, or people will bundle stuff and then decide, like if there's a lot of questions about why people bundle one item. And if you bundle one item, it's typically because you either A, are just going to watch the price of that item, which you can do liking it as well. Or 2, you're just waiting for an offer, which people do. Or 3, you went and looked through the rest of their closet and didn't find anything else you really wanted to bundle with. So you basically just abandoned that closet. There are some people who want the better shipping rate, the better, for them, they would rather buy their pants, their shoes, and their shirt from one seller, so they only have to pay one shipping rate. And if they get into that closet and they can't find that stuff, then they end up just going to another closet. So there's a bunch of reasons why people don't, they make bundles and then they don't actually do it. Sometimes for me, at least liking items, I like some items to do market research. So let's say, for instance, I'll give you an example. I have a pair of kind of unique UGG boots that are older that I actually purchased on Poshmark a couple years ago. I don't know if I'm ready to sell them. I do like them. They're pretty comfortable. They're warm. They have high heels. But I didn't remember what the name of them was. And I saw them on Poshmark. So I basically have liked a few of the different sellers who are selling that item. And then when I go to sell them, I can see that those items sold for a certain amount. So I kind of use likes as a stalking mechanism or competition, I guess you could say, just to see how much those items are selling for. And it's really easy to just go into my likes and see them versus trying to search all over again for the items, the sold items. So I try to find a comparable item with the same name and everything. And then that's how I search for that. Yeah, so you can accidentally hit the offer, or not the offer, the bundle button as well. Sometimes I'll go to like it and then I hit bundle, or I've noticed people will bundle stuff and then when I go to make them an offer, they just have it as a like. So you have that as well. I don't know. I don't really think we can ever understand what people do or don't do on the app. Doesn't always make any sense, but to me, that's what I've done in the past. So that's what I'm doing. But I'm glad you are all on here. Thank you so much for taking time on your Saturday and spending time with me. Okay, I'll get one more question and then I definitely have to go take advantage of this sports bra and walk my dog. So, how many times do you share your closet? All right, here's what I've been doing lately, and I think it's been working. I share my closet when I wake up and then at night, my full closet. Usually I'm just laying in bed, I share it. I pull up my laptop, I share it, I move on. And then I share, if I have any items that match the store categories. At this point, I have the time of the parties ingrained in me, so I know when they are. So I just know like, oh, it's 3:30. There's a party happening. Let me see what it is, share my items, move on with my day. And then what I've been doing in the morning and especially at night, a lot of people are on at night. So remember that. And at night, what I'm doing is I share my whole closet on my computer. I go into the news feed and I share 100 items of someone else's stuff. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the party. I just share 100 people's things. And then I share 100 items into the party. So I go into the party, I pick 100 things I like, and I reshare it into that party so it shows up again. This whole process takes me maybe 20 minutes. It does not take me a long time. I have about 200 of my own listings. And then I just go through. I'm much faster doing it on my laptop or my computer. So I, use my flamingo mouse. I go through, I just do it. And then I call it a day. I also go back and I look if anyone liked my items, I send them an offer, and then I go to bed. Because if I keep staying on Poshmark, now that I'm looking at the news feed and I'm going in the parties, I'm finding things that I should not be buying or that I really want. So now my likes are filled with research. They're filled with things I shouldn't buy. And they're things with things at 3 a.m. that I have put in my cart that I should not buy because I should not spend that much money on something or shoes, like your dream stuff. But eventually, one day, I might want to buy those Fendi shoes. So I just leave them in there and look at them. And then if they sell, I unlike them and call it a day. And I know I'll find another pair. Um, Okay, so if you look back, Sway Kid, I talked about sharing your stuff to social media. So just rewind the video when we're done. All right, guys. Well, thank you to all of you who have stopped by. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That's how YouTube recommends me to other people. So, and more people can learn about Poshmark and reselling and all that kind of stuff. And I also have a blog, bexabosslady.com. I will see you next time, and thank you for stopping by. Bye, guys.